Hola estudiantes, en este video vamos a repasar las palabras interrogativas, our question words en español. También vamos a introducir el pretérito, los verbos regulares. We're also going to introduce our preterite tense and focus on our regular AR verbs. Toda la información de este video está del libro Avancemos 2, Unidad 1, Lección 2, páginas 64-65. Nota gramatical. Repaso de las palabras interrogativas. Las interrogativas. We're going to review our question words because these will help us out to talk about things in the past. So introducing questions to find out what you did in the past. So again, we learned these last year in Spanish 1. Remember that questions in Spanish often begin with one of the following interrogative words. ¿A dónde? To where? ¿Cómo? How? ¿Cuál or cuáles? Which or which ones? ¿Cuándo? When? ¿Cuánto? ¿Cuánta? How much? ¿Cuántos? ¿Cuántas? How many? ¿Dónde? Where? ¿Por qué? Why? ¿Qué? What? ¿Quién or quiénes? Who? Notice that each of these interrogative words has a written accent and that some are masculine, feminine, and in plural forms. That will agree with whatever nouns we're describing. Remember that the word que can be followed directly by a noun, but the question word cuál cannot. Unos ejemplos para los apuntes. ¿Cuál hotel es el mejor? So which hotel is the best? So notice I have the noun hotel after our question word for what. So I'm able to do that with the question word que, what. ¿Cuál, on the other hand, often is followed by the word de, because I'm saying which of the following options. Por ejemplo, ¿cuál de las llaves necesito? Which key do I need? Tenemos una canción. So, to help you with these question words, we're going to tie it to a Christmas carol that you may recognize the tune to. So, here we go. ¿Cómo, how, cuándo, when, cuánto is how much, dónde, where, por qué is why, de dónde is where from, qué is what, cuál is which, quién is who or whom, a qué hora, at what time, a dónde is where to. All right, excelente. So again, that might help you to remember all those question words if you put it to the tune of Jingle Bells. Más información. A little more information before we wrap up with this nota gramatical. ¿Cuántos and cuántas? That one wasn't in our song that we just had, but remember that's the plural form of cuánto. So this is how much or how many. So pluralizing that. Again, que and cuál, they can be easily mixed up. So cuidado. Remember that que can be followed by a noun, but cuál cannot. Again, which hotel is best? ¿Qué hotel es el mejor? And our ejemplo con la palabra cuál. So, ¿cuál de las llaves necesito? Those are the same from the previous slide. All right, muy bien. Seguimos. Ahora vamos a aprender el pretérito. All of this is from página 65. Again, this is an introduction. So level 2, we have not practiced with this yet. You may have seen it in some of the songs and authentic resources we've used in class, but this is a brief overview of how to conjugate our regular forms that always follow a handy-dandy pattern. Las metas. Our goal for this video is we're going to learn how to form the preterite tense, our past tense, specifically with AR verbs. Then we're going to use this to talk about activities that you and others did in the past and kind of tie it to where we've traveled to since we're continuing with our theme of travel. So we'll talk about past vacations and what you did. Conexiones al inglés. Again, to connect this with English, tense, when I'm talking about a tense refers to when an action takes place. So we're talking about the past tense here. So many verbs are spelled differently in the past tense than they are in the present tense. So we have some examples here. So for regular verbs, the endings change. So here I have he talks, él habla in the present tense. Again, if I wanted to say in English, not he talks, but yesterday he talked, I almost always add that ed to my word. So s becomes ed. In Español, I'm going to have a totally different set of endings. So remember I had o, as, a, amos, a, isan. What do you do to an AR verb? take the AR, kick it to the curb. What do you do when that is done? O, as, a, amos, a, isan. We had those present tense endings. Now we're going to have a whole new set. So notice I have él habló. So a little bit different. Notice that it's an O, but I have an accent because I'm saying he spoke. This is going to be an introduction to our past tense verb endings. All right, repaso. So far we've only learned how to communicate in the present tense. Por ejemplo, yo hablo en español. I speak in Spanish. Ella tiene un perro. She has a dog. Nosotros les damos los boletos a ellos. We give the tickets to them. Algo nuevo. In English, the past tense, like I said in the previous slide where we had the examples, is usually formed by simply adding ed to our verb. In Spanish, though, we know we're going to need to conjugate. So verbs get conjugated by adding new endings to a stem of a verb. So again, the past tense that we're going to start today has its own set of verb endings. So all those ones we learned for present, put those to the side for the moment. We're going to focus on talking about things that happened in the past. In Spanish, this simple past tense is known as the preterite tense. El pretérito. Here we have our endings for our regular AR verbs. So the preterite tense tells what happened at a particular moment in the past. So this is something that's completed. So like yesterday, yo estudié. I studied for my test. So here are my endings. For the yo form, we have to form, haste, usted, o, and notice we have some accents on our yo form and our usted form. Those will be the only ones we need to have accents on. Over on our plural side, we have nosotros amos, vosotros hastes, ellos, ellas, ustedes, harán. Muy bien. Un ejemplo con el verbo visitar, to visit. Yo visité, tú visitaste, él, ella, usted visitó. Nosotros, nosotras visitamos, vosotros, vosotras visitasteis, ellos, ellas, ustedes visitaron. All right, notice that the nosotros form is the exact same conjugation as the present tense. So they have the exact same endings, so we're going to have to look for context clues, such as words like anoche, to help you determine that the sentence is in the past tense. Por ejemplo, acampamos anoche en el parque. So I'm not saying we currently camp in the park. We know that anoche means last night, so that's telling me that it happened en el pasado, in the past. Más ejemplos. Durante las vacaciones, yo monté a caballo. Mi mamá visitó un museo y mis hermanos nadaron. So during our vacations, yo form, I rode a horse. My mom, she visited a museum, and my siblings, they went swimming. Unas prácticas para terminar. Here I have some sentences in English that I'd like you to use your new vocabulary verbs, those AR verbs, to help apply this concept. So if you could pause the video and try out these examples. I camped, she sent, we rode, they took, the informal you, the to form of you visited, the formal you of you fished, y'all bought something in Mexico. So remember the y'all form in those in Mexico, Central America. We're going to use the ustedes there. And then the last example, we'll try a vosotros form, that informal Spain, for you bargained. So again, these are from our vocab list, some new AR verbs. Pause the video and try those out. Okay, aquí tengo las respuestas. How'd it go? Did you get those in your notes? Again, remember that these are our brand new sets of endings. Haste, o, amos, estáis, harán. So, all you simply do is drop your AR and add your new endings to your stem. Es todo. Muchas gracias y adiós.